This MLB pitch count is crap. It's garbage. The limit behind it, the timing. I'm going to read the official rule for those of you that are unaware. The new rule in the MLB is that there is a 30-second timer between batters and a time limit between pitchers. After receiving the ball from the catcher and or umpire, pitchers are required to begin their motion within 15 seconds if the bases are empty. If the bases have runners on, they only have 20 seconds. Kyle, I'm giving you the floor, man. Let her rip.
I think this rule that they have for the whole pitching cycle from beginning to end is just nonsense. And the way that I see it, maybe from an MLB perspective, is maybe like this is their version of just a play clock like you see in the NFL. That's a little bit different. There's a 40-second play clock in the NFL. This is 15 to 20 seconds max. And I'm going to go this route with the rule itself. They are ruining the integrity of the game. And this is not the first instance that Kevin and I have brought this up before. I think when they instituted the rule to put a runner on second base once you get into extra innings, I think that was a bullshit rule too. This is just another rule that, to be quite honest with you, Kev, I think that they should scrap it before the season starts. Because when it comes to the timing of the whole pitching cycle, the batter getting to the batter's box, this is not like a rapid fire situation that the pitcher and the batter are supposed to get into. There's always this little time frame where a pitcher is going to read some pitches from the catcher. He'll either shake his head no or shake his head yes. And then you get into your windup and then you pitch the ball. But that you have to run through this rotation so quickly because you don't want to be caught up against the clock, I think this is just ridiculous. And to me, it's really this analytical push that the MLB has been going after the last couple of years. I know that Kevin has gone on time and time again about analytics and how many pitches a pitcher should have even when he's doing really well in a game and taking him out and then going straight to the bullpen. This is another instance where it just seems as if the MLB is instituting rules for the modern time that we live in. And when it comes to baseball, as far as I see it, it still is the nation's pastime. And it should be kept in that way with the rules that baseball has followed since its inception. And when it comes to the length of a game, if people are really going out of their way to institute rules within MLB to say we need to wrap this up sooner rather than later, it really kind of goes to show that I think just people are impatient when it comes to watching baseball games, even though they should be. They should not be in that regard. Baseball games, as far as I see it, if you're talking about a 9-inning game, they're going to be 2.5 to 3 hours long. And if it goes to extras, it's even going to be longer. That just comes with the territory of a baseball game. If people are going out of their way to say that baseball sucks, it's because it's boring to watch, they can say whatever they want. But I played baseball for most of my childhood, and we would mostly play 6-7 innings in a game. And it took a while to get through those games, but I never really minded it. It just kind of came with the territory of the game. It's not a physical game. Baseball is purely a mental game. And when it comes to these rule changes that they've been instituting over the last couple of years, and this one specifically with the pitch clock, it's kind of taking away the whole mind game that comes along with the game of baseball. Because, it's always a battle really between the pitcher and the batter. And with this rule change, it throws that, I won't say relationship, but that competitive spirit that takes place between the pitcher and the batter, and it distorts it. And it speeds up the tempo of the game when I don't really think it should. So when it comes to how this is going to play out for the rest of the year, I think it's always going to be a focus where you're always going to be looking at the clock instead of the actual pitch in the pitcher and the batter going at it. And I think that that's wrong. I may sound like an old head here, but I think it would serve baseball and the MLB well to just get rid of this rule. I don't think it's going to serve the sport well. I don't think it's going to serve the fans well. And I think at the end of the day, it just distorts the nature of how the game is supposed to be played. Because like I said, now you're always focused on the clock instead of what's taking place between the pitcher and the batter, and then the subsequent runners on base and the fielders that are either in the infield or the outfield. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the year when it comes to how this is going to be managed. But I think it's ridiculous. And I think it only weakens the integrity of the game as far as I see it.
I mean, I'm looking at some other things here. Obviously, I didn't even know that there's this new shift rule. I'm not even going to get into that. There's bigger bases. Let's just get right back on track with the pitch clock. I understand to an extent that the game needs to be sped up just a little bit. Sometimes the batter's stepping out, adjusting his glove. Sometimes the pitcher's rubbing his hat. Sometimes the pitcher is stepping off to look at the base runner. Sometimes the batter's stepping out again. Sometimes the pitcher needs to have a conversation with the catcher. Sometimes the pitching coach needs to come out. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like some instances when it comes to pitching and hitters, there isn't something that's dragged. There isn't something that is, oh my God, again, like you can't get the right. But I agree with Kyle. There is a mental note. There's a reason. If the pitcher and catcher aren't on the same page, I'm not saying that the catcher should have unlimited trips to the mound, and I'm not saying that there should be an unlimited conversation between coaches and players. But if you're going to rush the pitcher, you got to be able to also rush the batter, right? Like I understand it's a 15-second clock for both, but instead of a clock, why do we limit how many times a batter can step out of the box? Why don't we limit how many interactions? Oh, wait, there is a limit of how many interactions there could be between pitcher and catcher in a game. What more do you want? The MLB is catering to people that don't even give a shit about baseball. The MLB is catering to people that have no patience, like Kyle said. The MLB is catering to fans that aren't even actual fans, because dedicated, real-life fans that pay all this money to be at an arena, to be at a stadium, are here to watch a 3 to 4 hour game. If you're complaining, don't fucking go. I don't understand the concept here. What the problem is, again, I understand that there needs to be tweaks, but for you to rush the game just for the sake of, Billy is like, Mom, I want to get out of here. I want to go watch my show. Or Sarah's like, I want to go to the bar. Like, I don't understand. Don't be at the game if you can't watch it. Go watch it at home. If you don't want to watch it there, be on your phone. Go get a phone call. Go grab a beer. I don't know what to tell you. But if you're going to pay money to be at a baseball stadium to watch a professional baseball team play the sport of baseball, then you need to understand that you're going to be there for a very long, lengthy period of time. That's what it is. This is Manfred once again screwing the sport up, ruining the game, and doing something to cater to the masses, as opposed to the actual fans that want to see a good game. For those of you that don't understand, when you're rushing a pitcher, you're rushing his decision, you're rushing the pitch call, you're rushing his ability to effectively play the game. Because if you're rushing in between pitches, you may not be set, you may not have the right pitch that you want, you may have to make an executive decision. You don't have time to sit there and go, yes, no, with the catcher 55 times anymore. But you can't just agree to the first pitch that the catcher is going to recommend. Again, there are so many tendencies and so many little nuances that I can go into detail about that are going to bore the masses here, but there's so much that goes into baseball that people don't understand, and you're only hearing 10% of it. It's taking too long. Baseball shouldn't be this dragged out. I have to be somewhere after this game. I want to go to bed. I want to beat the traffic. All these narratives that come with attending sporting events. Don't go. Baseball is the way that it has been for dozens, decades, hundreds of years at this point. And you're trying to change it because you don't want to be there, or you want to be at home or somewhere else faster. Just don't go.